looking at is Autodesk Inventor. We're going to be looking at some of the very basic tools in Autodesk Inventor, but these basic tools are used throughout any sort of model that you'll be making. Even really complex designs will be using these very simple tools, and this set of videos will allow you to come back if you ever get stuck at a part to come and look at how to use these tools again. And if you follow along and make this dice, then it will sort of fix in your brain, and you should be able to make sense when you come back to the video and go, oh, I know how to make that, or do that tool, or use that part of Inventor. The way this is going to work, I'm going to make the overall shape of the box, and then make the side number 1 in the first video, and then I'll be making the side number 2 and 3 in the next video, and then all of the other sides might have their own video, because I'll be going over things like the rectangular pattern tool, or the mirror tool, or using the fillet. So all the videos will be titled, so if you are looking for one of the specific tools, like how to use the rectangular pattern tool, then you can maybe go to that video, but this video just now is just going to be going over how to create a basic shape in Inventor, how to dimension, and how to use the extrude tool to make a solid object and to cut out of a solid object. So once you've opened up Inventor and you've went to new, and then you've went to metric and standard mm.ipt, you're ready to start. So I'm going to go to start 2D sketch first of all. Now in Inventor, everything is built upon different sketches. So you do a 2D sketch, and then you go into the 3D modelling tools, and you make it 3D. All the modelling tools do different things. We're just going to be looking at the extrude, which is a very simple modelling tool that you'll be able to understand pretty easily. So once you click start 2D sketch, it will bring up this origin. So it's got different planes. It doesn't really matter what one you click. I'm just going to click the XZ plane, so that it says up here top, and if you click the XZ plane, whenever I reference top side, it'll make maybe a wee bit more sense. Now in this sketch toolbar that we're now in, you can do a few things. So as you can see here, it still says start 2D sketch, and if I do click that, don't do this just now, it will bring up this origin again, and then I can draw another sketch, and now I've got 2 sketches up here. If you notice at any point you're maybe a wee bit stuck, it won't let you extrude something, have a wee look at your modelling tree. You might see that you've got a few sketches here, and the best thing to do is to just go back to when you had none of them, and then you can just start again. Sometimes it can get just a wee bit confusing when you've got multiple sketches and some of the tools don't work as they should. So I'm going to go to my rectangle tool here, and I'm going to go to 2-point center rectangle. 2-point center rectangle allows me to draw a rectangle that looks like this. If I was to use the other rectangle tool, it will start here and finish over here, which is not really what I want. It's like just good practice to draw everything on the origin, so that if you're ever wanting to draw a sketch in the inside of an object, or right in the center of an object, it's just a wee bit easier. Now I just drew a rectangle there, or a square that's not at any particular size. This is so I can dimension it after the fact. So I'm going to go to my dimension tool, and this is going to let me change the size. So all I'm doing is clicking the line, moving my mouse up, and clicking again, and I'm going to type in 50. Now my camera didn't move there, but the size of the object did. So to change the camera, there's 2 ways you can do that. So you can use your scroll wheel on your mouse, so the center button essentially, or you can click up on the square up here, and that'll move the mouse up, or move the camera into view. Then just going to use the dimension tool again, click, click, make this 50. If at any point you see me moving the camera around like this is me holding in the center scroll wheel, and this lets you pan. But that's us done for now, so I'm finished my 2D sketch. There's nothing else I want to add to that, so I'm going to go to Finish 2D Sketch. And it's moved me tab here, so it just automatically swaps you between these. But if you've definitely finished your sketch, so if you go into the Sketch tab and you've finished your sketch, and you go over to, and it's not moved you over, then just move to 3D model manually. If you move over 3D model manually and you haven't finished this sketch, there can be some issues there, so just check that you have done that. But there shouldn't be any issues there, it should just move you over. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to make this 3D. I'm going to make this 3D using Extrude. If I click Extrude, it automatically recognises that this is what I want to change. So I want to make this 3D. If it doesn't do that, then just hit Profile and then click the shape, and it'll give you what I've got on the screen here. I'm going to make this 50, so that's a perfect cube, and I'm just going to hit OK. Now what I want to do is I want to click onto or draw a circle onto this face. So just like we did before, I'm going to go to Start 2D Sketch, and I'm going to click this top face. Now on this face, you might have a cross axis going right through it depending on what face you clicked. So if I clicked this face, for example, it's given me this, and this step will be a lot easier. But what I want you to do is I want you to just follow along like you don't have this cross axis, because I want to talk a wee bit about dimension again. So instead of just clicking right into the centre, I'm just going to draw my circle anywhere and just going to draw it here. Now our goal is to get this right into the centre, so I'm going to click my dimension tool and I'm going to lock it in place. So I'm going to do that by dimensioning between two objects. So I'm going to use this as my reference point, so the edge of the square, and I'm going to click the centre of my circle, and I'm just going to move this over to here. So all I did there was click 3 times. I'm going to make this half of my object, so I'm going to make it 25. Because the object is 50 wide, and I want to lock it in place left to right now. So same again, clicking here and clicking the centre, moving it up 25. Okay, so it's very simple that, but sometimes you can just be clicking the wrong thing. You might be clicking and dragging, but it's just click, click and click, and you'll get this one. We'll do that whole thing again. So I'm just drawing in my centre circle, any size. I'm going to dimension it and I'm going to lock it in place. So I'm going to click, click and click, 25, click, 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 25. And I'm going to just change the outside circle of this, so this is just one click, and I'm going to make this 10. Now I'm finished everything I want to do on this face. I'm going to just click Finish Sketch, and I'm going to Extrude. But this time it's not automatically selected my circle, so I just need to click my circle this time, and obviously this isn't quite what I want. So I want this to just move maybe 1mm, and I want it to go inside. So looking over at the Extrude tab now, we've got a few options here. So we can click Cut and Intersect. I just want to cut. This makes the most sense. So click Cut, but it's not moved at the direction I want it to. This is just showing that it's going to cut thin air and not cut anything. For you, sometimes it's a wee bit different. Inventor will automatically assume that you do want to cut into the object. So I'm going to click Direction 2, and there we go, we can see that it's going in. Just make sure you look at your screen and see what's happening for you, and it might automatically change it. You might have to do this manually. So that is side 1 complete. Make sure you watch the full video and then pause it and do the part, or just watch the full thing again and then try and do it, whatever works best for you. And if you're ever stuck on any part of the dimensioning or extruding or cutting, then you can come back to this video to see how it was. In the next video, we're going to look at doing side number 2, where it's going to be following similar steps that we just learned there, and number 3, which is going to be 1 and 2 together. Okay, so click on to the next video to see that. Thanks.